I want to quickly touch upon this Tankz Young Spray situation. So I mentioned this previously regarding Tankz, who's a content creator here in the UK who does some great things. Went recently on Young Spray's podcast, who's a former UK rapper turned podcaster now, who has a very popular podcast here in the UK, kind of does crazy shit as well. Loads of controversial conversations and argy-bargy type of shit. Yeah, Tankz went on that pod and unfortunately had a bit of a run-in with Young Spray, the host, the founder, whatever, of that podcast, that went viral and that kind of didn't show Tankz in a good light because essentially Young Spray, in the words of the Americans, marked Tankz out. And I mentioned it previously on the Random Show stream that I was disappointed because I feel like most people out there, especially in content creations, are way too scared of physical altercations, especially the ones that talk for a living, right? I find that the ones, for some reason, the ones who talk for a living don't seem to be comfortable getting into physical altercations with people who maybe aren't too impressed or maybe aren't too happy about the things they say. And I say that I don't think physical confrontations are that big of a deal because the majority of people you're going to bump into can't fight anyway. So it's not as if you're going to get really hurt, you know? But if anything, your pride will probably be boosted. Your maybe image on social will maybe be boosted. And you obviously, I feel like, as well, send a message to anybody else out there who maybe want to try you in the future that you not want to be tried with if you do just decide to scrap. And I say that only to say because I think all men, as I made the point the other day on the Random Show, should have things that they're willing to crash out for. All men should have certain things that they're willing to crash out for, do a bird for, and whatever else it may be. And one of them for me, I mentioned previously, is cue cutters. And in some respects, I think other guys might have other things. Maybe it's if a guy says to you SMD, or he says to you, you know, SMM, or SUM, right? SUM, whatever, right? Or if a guy or somebody insults your girlfriend, your wife, or if somebody fucking, you know, kicks your dog, or fucking pushes your kid over. You have to have something you're willing to crash out for. And I think in this respect, if you're Tankz and you're getting spoken to by Young Spray in the way that he's getting spoken to in this clip I'm going to play, you should maybe crash out too. Even though you're not in the wrong, even though maybe Spray overreacted a little bit, you should probably just do it because you know the clip's going to go viral. You know you're going to look a certain way. And you want to make people know that in the first instance of and you also want to send a bit of a message in the first sort of interaction, you know, you have with somebody that's a bit, you know, combative. You want people to know that you have the ability to kind of go that place. You know, you have the ability to go there, but he didn't. Unfortunately, you let Young Spray speak to him in a certain way that I feel like was a bit unnecessary and whatever. And then the update on this is that Tankz went on another podcast with I think the guys, I think it's Mike G, is it Mike GLC? Or no, it's Pound Sterling, my bad. It's Pound Sterling. Winners Circle or Winners Talking, some podcast, I've got the name of it. It's a really good one. I do see the clip sometimes. I really do enjoy it. And that guy kind of gave him the reality check of what happened. Like, you got marked out, you got morted, you got punked out. It's not a good look for you. But this is the clip that went viral initially of Tankz being spoken to in a very disrespectful way by Young Spray. Then I'm going to play you Tankz's reaction to it when he went on Pound Sterling's podcast and how he was trying to cop please. So let's watch the clip that went viral initially where Young Spray essentially doesn't take too well to Tankz saying that he was begging it when it came to his disses against gigs.
This guy is dissing you on his new tune. Then I watched it. Giggler, yeah. Right. Then I watched it and he really is. Giggler, you know. Raw. Now, but that makes me know how much I'm doing well. Because before you're ignoring, you're not taking, you're not, you know, because you reporting things, you know in it what I'm saying. Yeah. You're ignoring everything. But I've done so many tracks. I've done a Talking the Hardest, my own Talking the Hardest. No one cared. No one weren't replying. I've done a diss tune every day for about a month. My mental health was through the roof.
So was you begging it then, would you say?
Begging what?
Like begging it.
Do you want to get beaten up? What do you mean? Because this is PTSD. What do you mean? Begging what?
Like begging.
Begging what? What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, are you trying to joke about something? What do you mean? Was I begging what?
Is it serious?
Was I begging what? Obviously serious. Because look at what I'm talking about. Was I begging what?
Huh?
What do you mean? Was I begging what?
I said like with the beef. I don't know what's been in the
begging what? What was I begging? What was I begging? Begging what? Was I begging what?
Because you were making a tune like every single month.
Was I begging it? Because what?
Now you watch it back, you for sure. Tankz was pushing his buttons because you were making the tune every single month. Were you begging it? Begging what? Begging what? Begging. Oh, but I don't like how close he's coming to him. I don't like how he's putting his fingers in his face. I don't like how he's basically goading him, daring him to do something so they can start scrapping. I don't like it. Plus, you're a guest on his show. I think this is very disrespectful from Young Spray. I'm a big fan of Young Spray. Love RTM, but this is very disrespectful. If I was fucking Tankz, I would have walked off the show. Just walk off the show. This isn't worth it. This isn't worth it.
Was I begging what, bro?
Begging
what was I begging?
Was you begging like the fucking? Was you begging like a confrontation?
Spray.
With him?
No, but like when you were saying earlier,
was I begging a confrontation with him?
Yeah.
Do you fucking understand what he's fucking saying? What do you mean?
I don't know.
How could I be begging a confrontation with someone? Huh? Don't let me say too much. Like, are you stupid? Because you actually know everything.
I don't.
So what do you mean?
I don't.
What do you mean? Was I begging?
Spray.
Big up on 10 toes. What does begging it mean? Begging it in the UK slang kind of means like licking ass. Kind of means like licking ass. Basically how Brendan is with Joe Rogan. You're begging it, you know? Like always mentioning their name. Always name dropping who like some famous person that you know. That's what begging it means, basically. It's kind of self-explanatory. That's what begging it means.
No, let me ask you a question. Don't bring no one if they're not governed. If they're not governed, don't bring it.
Begging it is kind of like clout chasing, essentially.
Don't bring it. Bro, please sit back. Please sit.
So that was what happened, right? Tankz didn't come off the greatest there. Spray also didn't come off the greatest too, to be honest. Talking to a guest that way, flipping that way, not giving the benefit of doubt. Because I don't think Tankz meant to be disrespectful, but obviously Spray and the whole gig situation is very sensitive to him. It's a kind of a sore subject, so it's understandable why he would flip out that way. But I don't think Tankz did that intentionally. You know, I don't think so. Anyway, Tankz went on to Pound Sterling's podcast, and they spoke about it. And he's tried to cop pleas about the whole situation. The title of the video is Heated, Tankz clashes with Pound over his thoughts on getting batted up by Spray. And batted up in UK slang is basically another way of saying getting marked out. So this is Pound Sterling kind of telling Tankz in no uncertain terms, no, you got batted up. You got marked out. And I guess Tankz is probably arguing, no, I didn't. It's all fun and games. It's not that serious. It's like, bro, maybe it's not that serious to you, but it does look kind of wild that you let someone speak to you that way. Obviously, there's nothing really he could have done in that situation because he probably would have got weighed in by everybody in the studio because everybody there is like, you know, a Young Spray fan. Chronic, there's another angle where Chronic looks like he was ready to kind of jump in and kind of give that guy Tankz a fucking 2-foot challenge if he tried to, you know, swing at fucking Spray. And I'm sure fucking Pinky and the other guys would have fucking jumped in too. So he probably would have left there with, you know, lumps and bumps. But like I said before, a man has to have something you're willing to fucking crash out on. And I think being spoken to in that way has to be one of those type of things. You know, that's a little bit too much. But let's hear what Panson has to say about the situation. And Tankz as well.
Still going off?
Yeah, I think so. It wouldn't have stopped. It's still be going on. It was viral the other day. He went over to RTM and kind of got into I won't call it a confrontation, but you got confronted slightly because you said something.
I wouldn't call it a confrontation, but you got confronted. It was a confrontation. Maybe you could call it an altercation, but it was, whatever it wasn't good. It wasn't a good chat, by the way. It wasn't a good chat.
You said you didn't know about certain things and, you know, you got kind of, well, badded up. Let's just say it.
Exactly. Thank God.
Kind of badded up.
And then the camera pans to him in those shorts again. The camera pans to him in those shorts. Big up Tankz, man. Bless him. Because again, like, is he at fault for not matching Spray's energy when he really didn't intend to say what Spray thought he said? Like, is he at fault? Can you now I'm trying to argue the other side. I'm trying to be a contrarian. Like, can you really say he got batted up just because he didn't match somebody's energy? Like, if somebody comes to you on some fucking fighting shit because they misinterpreted what you said, should you fight them just because they tried to fight you? Or should you try to de-escalate? Like, I already mentioned before, like, how much I don't like that within the black podcasting space, within this urban space, there's so many splits. Right? Big podcasts that were great at one point, like that Math Hoffa one in the barbershop was a great one. Then he doesn't really do well or do good by his fucking co-host and end up leaving because he's stealing money or not paying him enough. But we can never reconcile. It always ends badly. People go on a fucking hate fucking promo tour about you. You beef through fucking pods and interviews and shit, sending fucking subtweets and whatever else it may be on tweets and messages. It can never just be worked out without any sort of like dissing or violence. So maybe Tankz did a good thing there by just kind of de-escalating the situation. But optics-wise, it still looks shit, innit? Because Spray was really talking to him in a very disrespectful, dehumanizing, whatever way, you know? I didn't like it. So I think at least in that situation, Tankz got to stand up for himself a little bit and kind of match Spray's energy and kind of call his bluff. Because I think a lot of these guys, you know, yes, they kind of have a certain image, but when the push comes to shove, what's really going to happen? You know, what's really going to happen? Let's be real. So maybe Tankz would have come out of it looking great because he did match Spray's energy. Would have got a lot of credit for it, even if he quote unquote would have lost.
What really happened over there for that?
What makes you say I got badded up?
I told you.
Exactly.
I'll beat you up.
Exactly.
Again, and then touch that again and watch what I'll do to you. And things like that. In my eyes, that's like badded up. Now, I'm not saying you're in the wrong, but to the outside looking in, man to man, a man can't speak to another man like that and it not be interpreted in that kind of way.
It's kind of wild we live in this world, isn't it? Like where you can be like, I get Tankz's reaction. I understand like you have your right to not react to somebody that way and kind of de-escalate the situation. But then you can't turn around and be offended or be taken aback and surprised when somebody interprets it as you getting batted up. Because it was. You got batted up. How are you interpreting it a different way when that's what happened? Like, what else happened? You know? You can't have it both ways. You can't be against doing that sort of shit and try and talk through your situation and issues and let someone maybe say some flagrant shit to you, but then not be happy when somebody interprets it as somebody says flagrant shit to you. What happened. You dealt with it the way you dealt with it, but you have to accept that some people are going to view it as you got batted up. It's not a big deal. It just is what it is.
That's why I would call it getting batted up.
But just to add to that, right? I personally, I know P's saying it like that, but I wouldn't really personally say that you got batted up because I saw another angle, you know what I'm saying about the video? So I saw like a behind the scenes angle where your demeanor didn't change. You were sitting there because...
I don't agree, man. That other angle doesn't make it look great either. Because if anything, that other angle makes it look like he was pinned in the corner. This is the other angle he might be talking about. This is the other angle where, I'm not going to lie, it makes it look like he was pinned into a corner. And Tankz didn't move a single muscle. His friend did. The guy in the white kind of scooted up and Spray told him to fucking sit back and not get fucking too eager. And look, Chronic's body language, he's leaning forward. He's ready to go. If Tankz did something, he's ready to fucking jump in and back Spray. But Tankz didn't once move, shuffle, you know, match fucking Spray's body language. Zero. It kind of makes Tankz look, this angle makes Tankz look way worse. I'm not going to lie.
Fucked up. You on the mind game stuff. I don't know. No mind games. No mind games. It's real. It's real. This ain't even gonna go out. This ain't even gonna go out. Now you know this ain't gonna go out. So it's that dangerous. This ain't even gonna go out. That's how dangerous this is. I did not know. Huh? That's how dangerous this is. What do you mean I'm a begging? What do you mean I'm a begging? No, stop saying that. Stop fucking. Because I'm telling you the truth. Am I lying? Come in. Man did not know. I did not know. But I never knew. No, but can I say something?
Like, and he's copping pleas. I didn't know, man. I'm so like I'm surprised he didn't say I'm sorry. Like, he sounds like he's pleading his case, pleading for Spray not to hurt him. You know, I don't like that. I don't like that sound. It doesn't sound good because he did nothing wrong, man. Yes, he's being a bit cheeky. He was doing a little jokey joke, but it didn't warrant this sort of reaction from Spray. So I would have been more offended that Spray didn't give him the benefit. Like, if I was him, I would have been more offended he didn't give me the benefit of the doubt and immediately thought that I was thinking, you know, I had the worst intentions. Instead of just sitting and be like, I didn't know, man. I'm so like, that's not good. Tankz didn't look good here.
Because I just want to say something to Joe. Because I did not know Spray, bro. Man's not on that. I know this shit's real, bro. Man's not on that disrespect. Keep talking about PTSD. I did not know. Because you said that, bro. I did not know. Because the way you're acting, like, it's cool, fam. Man did not know, bro. I did not know, bro. I'm looking you in the eyes, a man telling you, I did not know.
Oh, I don't like that. Ew. So anyway, that doesn't make him look good. I'm not gonna lie. That doesn't make the situation look good. That makes it look worse.
When you watch it from the viral clips, you can only see my man talking to you. You can't really see you like how you're responding. So you know, like if a man's getting bad up and a man's moving all shifty and all of this, or that from the other angle, you're just chilling and you're still trying to get your point across. Do you get me? So I don't know. From your point of view, how did it come across to you?
I'm not from that era of chilling to them talk.
No, I hear it.
I hear you.
At the same time,
I'm not that
at the same time, man.
But I hear you. I hear you.
Pounds. I hear you though.
Yeah,
I hear you. Because a few of my brethren have even phoned me up and said like they're going mad. They're thinking like
one of them probably sitting next to you thinking the same thing.
See, man, bro, I see it as bro. If you say you're gonna beat him, guys, they don't say they're gonna beat him up.
Facts.
Gonna beat you up.
He's gonna beat him up.
So, man, will beat you up, bro. Man, don't say I'm gonna beat you up. Leave it as that, bro.
Yeah.
That is a good point, though. That is a fair point. If you're gonna say that's why I think Tank should have matched Young Spray's energy. Because so far we've heard again, as much as I like Young Spray as a rapper, he does do a lot of barking. We haven't heard him put any hands and feet at anybody so far. We've heard what happens when he got in that altercation with Giggs, but that's like a long thing. That's like an older guy thing. I don't really know the details, but that was a bit crazy. But we haven't heard him put hands and feet on anybody so far. He talks kind of a big game. He's kind of boasty with his shit. He talks with a bit of bass in his voice, but we haven't really heard him put hands, feet, and elbow on anybody. So if I'm Tankz, I'm going to call your bluff. Because you're already like talking to me in a certain way. I'm going to match your energy and see where it goes. And be okay with what the consequences are. That's what you should have done. But just sitting there and letting the guy talk to you in that way and then copping pleas about, I didn't know. I'm looking at you, man. Like, come on, Tankz, man. Come on, bro. Come on.
You get it? I don't need to say no more. You get it?
Go on.
Yeah, no, so as I was saying, I did like, what's it called? I hear what you're saying, and my brethren are calling me up, telling me like, yo, it's a bit mad and that. I hear that angle, but I was more confused. I'm just trying to calm this down.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, I'm confused because I actually didn't know what was going on there. Not what's going on. I didn't know the situation behind it. I didn't know who was associated to the situation. So I did. So if you watch when Spray was talking, like the way he was talking about it before that clip happened, the way he's talking about, bruv, you know what? I don't even want to. I'm high. I don't even want to.
He's still scared. He's still scared, isn't it? He's worried about what he will say, and if Spray sees this, how he'll react. Oh, I don't know, man. I feel like people are too scared to get into confrontations, physical ones anyway. If you're in the business of talking shit online, and you say something that ruffles someone the wrong way, and they want to fight you, fuck it, have a fight. Whatever. You shouldn't need to. You should be able to kind of, say your words and kind of talk it out. But if they want to have a scrap, fuck it. Most people can't fight anyway. If you know a smidgen of fucking self-defense, a smidgen of fucking boxing, a smidgen of fucking Muay Thai, whatever, you'll fuck most people up anyway. Most people can't fucking fight. Like, it's not that deep. And if you get beat up, you get beat up. At least you stood on your shit. At least you fucking stood up for yourself as a man. Like, getting mugged off like this is just not it. Honestly, I couldn't do it, man. I couldn't do it. Which is why I generally stay away from, controversial topics and pissing people. You know what I mean? I stay away from all that because I can't be in a situation where somebody, tries to step to me in a certain way and I have to then decide what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? It's like, because I know I'm always going to go for the bad route, because my pride and ego won't allow me to just sit there and let somebody say, do you want me to beat you up? Like, who are you, bro? You're not my fucking dad.
I want to talk about this, bro. I'll be real.
It's kind of unavoidable though because of the virality of it.
I'm not even trying to avoid it. It's just I've explained it so many times. It's like, I don't even care, bro.
No. Where it is, I hear you because for me, yeah, I hear where you're coming from because it's a personal thing. And
I don't even want to talk about it. I don't care. Okay, I hear you, but we're going to talk about it.
The world's watching, but people are going to want to know. That's why I just said, you don't have to say nothing more.
The world's watching. No, not that many. Just us in the UK. No one else cares about this stuff, to be honest.
That's why I just said, that's how I perceived it. When I'm looking at it.
I didn't take it personally. To me, that was, you know what I mean? Shit happens, bro.
To me, yeah. I'm not saying you're
I
in the wrong.
walked away without a finger being laid on me.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're in the wrong.
Oh, that's a bit disgusting. I walked away without a finger. No one beat me up. It's like, that's not a win. Come on, Tankz. That's not a win, bro. No one touched me, so I'm fine. So I'm okay with it. Okay, I guess. Honestly, I remember back in the day, right? Going to link girls in fucking Brixton. Going to link girls in Streatham. Going to link girls in fucking Peckham. Going to link girls in fucking Elephant and Castle. Back in the day when it was dangerous to go there. And everyone knew. I don't know what it was about those era, but you'd step outside a fucking Brixton station, you'd walk up the stairs onto the fucking pavement, and you'd feel like everybody was watching you, and they knew it instantly that you weren't from there. Even though you would like pre-plan your route, you knew exactly what direction you were going in. You're gonna bust a right out the station, bust a left and go across the street, bust a left and a left. Like you knew exactly where you were going. You weren't even moving mad or like looking at your phone. People could still tell you weren't from there. One of the worst experiences I had was going to fucking South during a school trip. We went to South, I think we might have went to some gallery or some shit. And then we went to like a local shop, we went to like an area where there was shops and shit. And we were all in our uniform there getting lunch. And it happened to be the same time as lunch of other schools. And then other boys from other schools were there. And obviously there's a girls' school that was there too, because I think South there's a lot of like boys and girls' schools. And another girls' school was there. So all the boys from that school were trying to impress the girls from the girls' school by trying to hot us up that were from this other school. And obviously all the kids that I was, because unfortunately for me, even though I had a lot of friends from ends and shit, when it came to school, I was kind of smart. So I was always in the higher sets. But the higher sets aren't necessarily the ones where you have people that look like you, right? They're the sets where not a lot of people from ends are in. So I'm going on this class trip to South with a bunch of people who aren't on anything. And then you got these kids from South, from these schools, who are trying to impress the other girls from this other girls' school by hotting us up, you know. So I have to kind of stand my ground against all these kids on my own, and then the teachers who are there aren't understanding what's going on at all. They don't get the energy. They don't understand what's going on. So like it's all this little microaggressions and shit happening. People walking past you a certain way, mumbling stuff underneath their breath, screwing you down. Like, god damn, man, god damn. That shit will teach you a lot. That shit will teach you a lot. But you never left those places with your life intact and thought it was a win. Actually, you felt like you got mugged off. Even when somebody looked to you a certain way and you didn't match their energy. Because there's no one around you to help. No one around you to fucking back you up. You felt disgusting. You know what I mean? You felt like a PUSSY. Even though you weren't, really, technically, you'd feel like it. So, Tankz saying it was a win, despite him being barked at by spray like that, it's heartbreaking. I'm not going to lie.
I'm just saying my point. Like,
yeah, go on then.
Calm down the situation. Still kept the relationships intact because I want to like.
I wouldn't want the relationship no more.
Exactly.
That's fair.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want the relationship.
No exactly. Don't talk to me that way. Nah, exactly. Big up Pound Sterling. I don't want that relationship either. I don't want that. But to be fair, I'm not sure if Pound Sterling is projecting here. Does Pound Sterling have an issue with spray? Are him and spray not good? I don't know about the law. Maybe this is why he's projecting some of his whatever. Maybe this is why. But yeah, Tankz bragging that he still has a relationship. Like what? So you're gonna go back on that show after getting hotted up like that?
When I found out the context, I realized after when we had the break that reaction was completely warranted.
This is what I'm gonna say to you separately. This is what I'll say to you on that. And this is not me. Like me and him ain't best of friends. But what I'd say
okay. That explains why he's saying what he's saying then. Him and Spray aren't on good terms, so you know he's obviously gonna not be a fan of Spray and what he does. But still, he could probably be objective. I think Tankz is bug. Maybe it's an age thing. How old is Tankz? Is that 23, 22? Maybe? I don't know, man. Someone talked to you that is still a bit mad. I'm not gonna lie.
Use this just as a like. There's viral moments and there's viral moments outside looking in. So I don't know like where the line is for you lot when it comes to internet thing. I don't know where the line is for viral moments, but I would just say that as you're a younger man for us still, but as men, we didn't get. You're allowed to leave, or you're allowed to leave the room, or get up and walk away.
Exactly.
I'm not letting my son. I'm gonna tell my son, don't let a man talk to you like that.
Exactly.
And if he does, you haven't got to fight him. You haven't got to do nothing because he might be a bigger, badder man for you. There's always someone badder for someone else. You might not even want to fight. You might think you're not even worth me fighting because I broke you up. Whatever the reasons, you could have felt however you felt. But I would just say, for the sake of a viral moment, my mum didn't raise me and my dad didn't raise me to sit here for a man to talk to me like that.
Exactly.
Now, it's not taking anything away from you. I'm just saying that's my opinion on it. Like, I wouldn't want the relationship after that. I think people sometimes take this internet thing too much for a joke. Like, not you. I'm talking on the other side where they think they can talk to people anyhow they want.
And you know what this reminds me of? That fucking Barstool Sports clip with what's his fucking name? El Presidente barking at that employee. You work for me, bitch. Shut your fucking... Like, bruh, no, there's no job in the world, no matter how much they're paying you, where I'm willing to let someone talk to me that way. And to be fair, though, to give me a bit of criticism, that probably is a reason why I haven't, hit the heights I should have hit in terms of my career. That's probably why I didn't get to certain places, didn't secure certain jobs, haven't been in certain rooms, because I'm not willing to kind of like swallow that sort of shit. Pause. I'm not willing to do that, right? And I've had many, I won't say many, but I've had 1 or 2 altercations with certain people where it's probably done a lot of damage to me, reputationally wise, that I'm not even aware of, not even conscious of. Maybe some people don't even like me because of certain things they've heard that I've kind of done or said about certain people. But I just can't, nothing in my fiber, in my body, in my soul can handle being spoken to or being treated in a way by somebody and accepting it just because they're higher up than me in a clout ladder or they're my quote unquote boss. I just can't accept that. And I personally think somebody that uses their position like that to talk to you in that sort of way is a piece of shit anyway, that you shouldn't be, you know what I mean? You shouldn't want to be friends with. Personally, you shouldn't want to be kind of associated with in the first place. That person's a real piece of shit if they try and go out of their way to speak to you in a certain way and try and get away with it because they pay you because of this or because of that. Fuck that sort of shit. It's not worth it. Plus it's Tankz, man. He's got a popping channel. Tankz' channel is doing bits as well. I watch his shit all the time. You don't even need Young Spray like that. You know what I mean? He's a dinosaur in all respect, intended. He's an older dude. He's doing things in his lane, his way. You don't even need his cosign or his endorsement. I don't think so. You can do your own thing respectfully, but you don't need to allow people to talk to you that way. You got to defend yourself and stand up for yourself a little bit.
Do whatever they want and we'll put it in the name of virality. And that lives forever now. My parents didn't fly over from, my granddad didn't come over from Grenada. My granddad didn't come over from Jamaica. My mum didn't go and work. And we used to be waiting for a man to talk to me and then put it in the name of
He's invoking the spirit of his ancestors now in a disrespect. Nah.
But with you, I would say you're young. So it's just a learning experience for you. And it depends what you want. That's why I asked you how important is a viral moment? Because I could look at it and be like, viral, sick. Or I could look at it and be like, my ancestors didn't go through all of this for me to have.
That's true, because how far are you willing to go? Are you willing to accept somebody slapping you in the face for the sake of virality and not swinging back because you don't want to go to prison and enjoy the virality? Because someone could say that. Someone could say, hey, I'm okay with a man slapping me, mushing me in the face, but not replying, or not fighting back because I want to gain from the kind of virality of that clip. I want to be around and stream. I want to make a video and take advantage of everyone kind of trying to, find out what's going on and shit. Me personally, I couldn't do it, but I see some people that could.
Have them kind of viral moments, bro. And I'm not trying to, I don't want you to feel any kind of way. I welcome you into this podcast with love. You understand? You was coming before this. You see what I'm saying? But I'm just saying to you, what I would say to my son, that's not that far from you, from your age. Like, there's a fine line. That's why when you said the relationship and all of that, I'm not even knocking him because he might have felt some kind of way about what you said and thought that you knew what he was saying and whatever, but it's a fine line. But let's move on from that.
Exactly. I said the same thing too. I get why Young Spray replied the way he did or acted the way he did because he felt offended and he felt slighted. He's got every right to feel that way. I just didn't like how Tankz allowed him to talk to him that way. That's the thing. Especially because he didn't mean what he said with a bad intention. He didn't mean it at all. You knew he didn't. So that's why I didn't enjoy too much. But hey, it is what it is, I guess.
Don't want to make anything awkward.
Yeah.
But
It's not even awkward. I think you're just dragging it way out of proportion, bro.
I bet you other people won't think that.
I don't think so.
But that's the thing. Doug doesn't think so.
No, but
And
what I mean is, in terms of dragging it out of
No,
proportion.
he don't think I'm dragging it out of
I
proportion.
don't, because I get what you're saying because...
I'm saying, I think like, I hear what you're saying, but you've just gone on a whole rant there, like not a rant, but telling me facts. I agree partly with it, but I think you're dragging it way too much. If it's just a learning lesson, if it's a part of learning, part of growing up, is it really that deep? Is that not a part of just growing up? Like,
to be fair, maybe that's a good thing, man. Because I'm laughing, I'm thinking to myself, wow, bro. He's like justifying getting mutted. He's justifying getting marked out. He's justifying getting mugged off as a learning experience. Maybe that's a good thing, though. Maybe this younger generation, because they're not on smoke this the way that maybe we were, or because not every slight, maybe not every whatever should be met with aggression and violence. Maybe that's why they're further in their careers. Maybe that's why Tankz at his young age is doing so well, because his ability to like not respond in those instances the way that maybe I and people from my generation would have responded. Maybe that's why. Maybe he's onto something. Maybe this is where we should be going as people. Maybe. I don't agree. I'm trying to make sense of it, but god damn, he's really okay with being spoken to that way. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I don't think he is, by the way. I think he's more scared of a young Spray. If I'm being honest, and again, I like Tankz, but I think he's only making these excuses because he's probably scared of Spray. Which is understandable because he's an older guy. And he's muscular and he's tall and shit, so he's afraid of that shit. When really and truly, when you get older, you realize that usually the bigger they are, the harder they fall anyway. And usually someone that, most people can't even fight. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not even that big of a deal. But I think he's probably more scared of Spray as opposed to like okay with what he said,
23.
That's what I just said.
Mm-hmm. So but I feel like you're making it way deeper than it is then, because it's just a learning experience, bro.
Not
like,
really.
you learn from
because,
no, wait, listen. Yeah, just give me perspective, bro.
It's just perspective. Because at the end of the day, what man's saying is... Now, what he's saying is that basically, for the sake of a viral moment, would we allow ourselves to be disrespected on anyone's platform?
That's what I'm saying.
For the sake of a moment, or let's say like we got into an argument.
By the way, Tankz is a smart guy. He knows what he's saying. Like I said, he just needs to be honest and say, look, I was scared. I was outnumbered. Just be honest. The truth is he was outnumbered. It was him against Spray, Chronic, that Pinky guy with the long locks. Like, he was outnumbered. Maybe Pinky wouldn't have. Maybe Pinky would have been a bit more... Maybe he would have tried to de-escalate and break it up. But for sure, Chronic was going to put hands and feet on him. He was already itching. His body language was already like, getting ready. Spray was waiting for an excuse. He wanted Tankz to say something to kind of send him over the edge. Traplo Ross wasn't going to do jack shit. Maybe call the police. So he was outnumbered. He was fucked anyway. So I get why he didn't. He maybe calculated in that instant as a smart person. It's going to be me against 2 people. Me against maybe 3. Maybe 4. Maybe a cameraman might jump in. 5. But if it's me, I'm dying on my shield. You know what I mean? I'm not having guys speak to me that way, make me back up into my chair, make me plead my case, tell me they're going to beat me up, all these sort of threats. Like, no. We can't have that. But I get why he didn't do it. He just needs to be honest and say, hey, maybe I was scared and I was outnumbered. That's okay. Or I was just kind of, caught off guard type of thing.
Now, yeah, and let's say we got into a madness, it would never go out.
Yeah,
especially if we're going to be cool off the back of it.
That's if you're my brethren. See, like you said, there's a relationship.
That's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. Because Tankz did say him and Spray were talking quite well before the pod. In between the breaks and shit, they would talk quite well too. There'll be a break. I think they had a break after that little, dust up and shit, altercation. And they got on well. So he's trying to say, if that was the case, and I was your friend, and it was a little, we had a little thing, I wouldn't have put that clip out anyway, or I wouldn't have put it out the interview. That's actually true. But again, Spray's not that kind of guy, he's COE, he's content over everything, so he's not going to do that. But I see the point they're making. Like, if Spray is actually your guy, and if it was like a misunderstanding, he wouldn't have put that clip out. He wouldn't have done you like that. But hey.
For the sake of a relationship, that's what I'm saying about relationships. When you said, no, the relationship's still good. In the relationships I deal with and that we've come up off of, if you turn around to me after this and said, bro, you know what, man? Yeah, don't even put that out, man. It looks bad for him. I won't put it out because fuck a viral moment, dog. That's relationships. You see what I'm saying to you? That's what so when you're saying I'm dragging it, I ain't dragging it. I'm just letting you know perspective, bro, because you can't, we're letting the audience know as well, people are losing certain people go with this thing now of everything. No, but it's all for clout. It's all for views. It's all for this. And then it's like you let any and it's see you shake it because you know the thing. It's not. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm not dragging it, bro.
No, we're not dragging it. We're not trying to make man look anyway. We're just talking on a real perspective. Like,
I'm just saying, I feel like it's just. I still feel like that.
Now go ahead, bro. Push the mic slightly towards him. That's it. No. This is just a mic. This is just a mic.
It's important to get this in. Everyone's seeing it as they're seeing a video of him, cool, young Spray talking to her, bro, like this. They're seeing that's disrespect, but he disrespected my man first, unintentionally. See, man, in that situation, I said to Broski as well.
They'll jump in.
Man's young Spray, and man's thinking he meant that, bro. Man's crashing it, bro. Straight.
Yeah.
You get it, bro. That's real life. He done it unintentionally. So how else do you expect my man to react?
That's why I said he's not wrong.
Easy, you get it. So it's not a thing where
You can't be wrong, and you're saying you can't be wrong and strong. That's what you're saying. Tank can't be wrong and strong.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like, he
That's
can't.
no, but we
literally
get it. We get it because you made a mistake in the sense that you didn't understand this.
That's fair. That friend is very wise beyond his years. That's a good point, to be fair. That's a good point. Like, how can you match Young Spray's energy when you honestly didn't intend for it to come across that way? You have to be, I mean, it's kind of, that's where my generation fails. That's our folly. That's our error. That ability to kind of switch and go mad off of, a misunderstanding, and crash out crazy when you're not even on that time, Like, I don't know, it happens all the time in clubs and shit. Someone steps on your foot, or whatever, they get fucking mad, and then you somehow go madder. Like, how? When maybe you're the victim, or maybe you're the unintentional fucking aggressor in that situation. Why not just be like, hey, I didn't mean that, man. Honestly, apologies, my bad. That doesn't happen. But if you do that, you feel like you're a mutt. You feel like you're a PUSSY. Yeah, maybe Tankz is right in the way he approached it or the way he dealt with it. Maybe he's right, Maybe I got it completely wrong. Maybe Tankz is right.
Situation, it's triggered my man, and then obviously off the back of it, you've had conversations and you've said, look, like you didn't know this, that, and you've let it slide, and the relationship's cool after that, and you moved on from it, kind of thing, and that's how it's been left, kind of thing. Yeah. For
me, it's because he said the PTSD thing. You know what I mean? If it's and now that I know the link, it's like, yeah, that is a PTSD thing. Yeah. So I can't even. So when I knew, like, okay, when I clocked, okay, this is not even a joke thing. Like, I must have, because I'm autistic anyway. So it's like, it's hard for me. Like, I find myself saying, not picking the right word sometimes, or I might come across not how I want to come across. You know?
Big up Tankz, man. I'm autistic. That's why man mutting me off. Oh, the tism allowed me to get marked out, man. The tism. Surely the tism should work in the opposite, It should actually help you, match that person's energy. But yeah, the tism caused me to get marked out.
You know what I mean? But in that situation, even if, forget the situation, even me just saying that would have been nearly crossing the line, I reckon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I could understand how it went there. Yeah. Looking outside, I can understand how it went there. That's why I said, even when I was having when you said I was dragging it, I still even said in there, like, I can't totally wrong him for how he reacted. You can't blame someone for how they react. Everyone's entitled to feel how they want to feel about anything they want to feel. But anyway,
100%.
Let's move on from that.
Fair enough. Big up Pound Sterling. Dealt with it in a really good way. Kind of spoke to him like an older without much. That's the thing. A lot of older guys don't do this well. They're not able to speak to the young generation without coming across like they're lecturing, coming across like they're talking down, coming across like they're trying to mug them off again. I think the message was received in a real way. Like, look, I've got sons your age. I didn't like the way, I don't like the guy anyway, but I didn't like how he spoke to you. I didn't like how he reacted. And I would hope that you wouldn't let this be like a common, don't let this happen. Don't this happen again, essentially. Stand up for yourself, especially if you did nothing wrong, especially if you want, because if you did something wrong, fair enough, kind of expect the lashing. But if you didn't intend if it to come across that way, why should someone speak to you that way? I mean, it's not necessary. So big up Pound Sterling. That was good. That was fucking good. I really enjoyed that. I fucking enjoyed that. Big up Blood Clot Pound Sterling. Big up Blood Clot Pound Sterling.